to jump right in today. It's a new year, and with that often comes a bunch of resolutions for people to improve things. A lot of people resolve to make healthier decisions or get their finances or health in order. Roxanne, a few weeks ago, you told me about an awful business transition and how you overcame that. And then you told me about your change of careers and how you overcame that, and you're leveraging those lessons to help your clients. Today, I want to talk to you about probably one of your biggest obstacles you've overcame so far, and that's your cancer journey. Can you take us back to your date of diagnosis?
Well, day of diagnosis, I was already in the University Hospital in Edmonton. I was there 12 days before diagnosis. So just really sick. I was healthy the end of January. February came and it was like hitting a light switch. I went from healthy, cooking a dinner for, I believe we were 12 people the night before. The next morning, I woke up really not well, and it just continued to deteriorate from there. So over the month of February, I just became increasingly sick, and I was diagnosed March 1st.
Wow.
2018.
And how hard was that news to hear?
It was kind of a strange thing for me, and perhaps this goes back to a bit of my medical knowledge, but I knew as all the numerous tests were being run those first couple of weeks in February, and I had everything done. I couldn't tell you, I think maybe 100 different vials. We were sending blood samples to Calgary special labs, and I even had a bone marrow biopsy. So prior to even being admitted into the university hospital, I had narrowed it down in my head that I had either leukemia or lymphoma. So when they finally came out and told me I had lymphoma, I was just happy to have a diagnosis, because at that point I really kind of in my head knew it was one or the other already.
Wow. I was just doing some reading, and it was a 2015 study, and it said 63% of Canadians are expected to survive for 5 years or more after a critical illness diagnosis of cancer. Is that what you found?
Well, survival rates are always increasing for everything, and the reality is that healthcare has improved so much that survival rates improve so much. But that doesn't mean I have a diagnosis and I get healthy the next day. Survival rates are improving, but there is still quite a long period, and sometimes a much longer period now, of illness and disability.
Right. Right. And I've heard you share before that your prognosis was not very good.
Yeah, it turns out I had an extremely rare form of lymphoma. Again, cancer is one of those great umbrella diagnoses, and then lymphoma is actually another big umbrella, which I didn't realize. Numerous different types of lymphoma, and the subtype of the subtype of the subtype that I had is extremely rare. So 12 known people with it in all of literature in the world. So there really isn't great sub-treatment knowledge about it, because there just aren't a lot of people that you can test different sub-treatments on. I was extremely fortunate in that I lived past the average 6 weeks post-diagnosis. So, and again, an average out of 12 people is kind of a, is it an average? Who knows? I was on the younger side of that spectrum, and I truly believe that the time of my diagnosis was critical to that, because I think a lot of people, because you get sick so fast, probably aren't getting diagnosed in sufficient time.
Right.
I think it was critical. And the other part that was critical, as my oncologist said, you know, the odds weren't very great because my subtype was pretty difficult to treat. My husband just said, well, why don't we try something different? And my oncologist added an extra drug to the standard treatment. 2.5 years later, I'm still here. So obviously the extra drug and the timing, it all fell into place. And I am a bit of a believer that, okay, I was meant to survive. Why? because against all odds I did. And I add that to the fuel, right? To the fuel of all those other experiences that I've shared. And I add that and I bring it to the table of why it's important, A, to be protected, but B, to understand and give hope that just because you've had a critical illness doesn't mean it's the end. And a critical illness lives with you forever, even once you're cured. So I had my official cure, was given to me this past May. But anytime you get sick, anytime I have a stomach ache, my brain instantly goes, is the cancer back?
Yeah, that's an incredible and such a powerful story you share. And I look forward to chatting a little bit more as the month goes on. But thank you for sharing that with us today.
I'm glad I could be here to share it.